So just before we start the session, we really wanted to get into some kind of information, some housekeeping items, the agendas and stuff like that. So, our agenda is very simple. We'll be having a introduction to the webinar, lead by Mr. Rajesh Menon and Chandra Menon, and then straight we'll go back to our session, lead by Srikala ma'am and Anita ma'am. After that, you will have time to have a Q&A session, lead by Dr. Hasina Begum. There are some rules and regulations. It's very strict and rules and regulations because we are running live. So make sure these rules are strictly followed. We are recording this session, so make sure you are not recorded, right? Make sure you are muted all the time, fine. And we will have a moderator who will just taking all the questions and will collect all the things, and accordingly we'll get the answers from the host, fine. If you have any questions, you can just use a chat box and put it over there. Then we'll collect that questions and we'll try to answer at the end of the session. Okay, so we have a Q&A area, so we'll have a session there, fine. As usual, we have to thank you, our supporters and well-wishers who always support us and every time we need it. So Al-Rayami Group, because Rich Bhavan, Vulcan is always, Equilibrium Group companies always help us. The team which is behind the whole story today's session, thank you for them. And Study at Chanakya. So this is just a brief of the session. So I'm just going back to Dr. Hasina Begum. Please take over. Thank you.
Good afternoon, good evening all. Hello. Respected all the dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, and our beloved students. A warm welcome to today's section. Kammate Thrissur is a well-organized cultural group of people functioning with a particular purposes. The founders of this organization gives importance to cultural events and has done many general charities. Its main aim is to enable young people to be an active part of the society, to provide necessary skills and knowledge to children to improve themselves and an active citizens in the society, to mobilize youngsters in order to be more familiar of different dimensions and approaches. So leaders of Kammate Thrissur turn to webinars for inculcate knowledge among students. This is the second series of webinar with eminent personalities. May I have your attention? The presentation is about to begin. The main purpose of education is to educate individuals within society to prepare and qualify them for work in economy, as well as to integrate people into society and teach them values and morals of society. Role of education is means of socializing individuals and to keep society smoothing and remain stable. What is career? Our goals, our visions, our educational values, skills, interests, etc. all together we can call a career. Career guidance can be defined as a comprehensive developmental program designed to assist individuals in making and implementing informed educational and occupational choices. Through this session, it's a framework to a good journey to excellence. Let me tell you, in order to move this session smoothly, please keep your mics unmute and videos enabled. feedback can be shared after the question and answer session. Absolutely amazing. It's a wonderful leaders with us today. It's an absolute pleasure and honor to address President Mr. Rajesh, General Secretary Mr. Shashindran, Treasurer Mr. Samir Said Muhammad, and other dignitaries of MIDA Thrissur, and even all the technical supporting staff. They are very important to the successful of today's event. And even I also invite the resource persons of the day, Mrs. Srikala and Mrs. Anida, and along with them 3 alumni with them, Major Ragesh Puri Goswani and Mr. Anirudhan Jamgopal and Vaishnavi Sachis Kumar. Wow, that was an incredible line of brilliant leaders with us today. Dear leaders, proudly I welcome to all for today's webinar. Our session includes career planning and development, stages of career development, psychometric test, role of teachers and parents in career development, role of education in employability, and so on. This is the time for welcome speech. There is no need of introduction to our General Secretary. Always, he is an enthusiastic, pleasant and funny personality, Mr. Shashindran. May I invite him for today's welcome speech. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Hi, very good evening to one and all gathered here and those who are watching through our social media pages. On this auspicious occasion, I would like to welcome you all for the Career Guidance webinar conducted by MIDA Thrissur Group. Hope all of you are in good health. It is our pleasure to welcome our 2 distinguished guests, Srimati Srikala Nambiar and Anita Tundathil. They are here to present today's career webinar. Srimati Srikala S. Nambiar is the Director of Shikshatri Educational Consultant. Srimati Srikala was also a member of Indian Council for Child Welfare and one of the leaders of Cambridge International Exam Program and a holder of International Diploma in Guidance and Counseling from NCERT. Madam, we welcome you to the webinar. The next person to introduce is Srimati Anita Tundathil, who is experienced and an expert in career guidance and counseling. Our warm welcome, Madam, to this webinar. In essence of great leadership and influence within our group as well as outside, businessman, our president, Mr. Rajesh, I appreciate your influencing us. We welcome you to our webinar. We are so lucky and pleased to welcome our own Dr. Hasina Begum, well-known writer, poet, fashion designer, motivational speaker, headmistress of Modalu School Abu Dhabi, as anchor for today's webinar. Our warm welcome, Dr. Hasina Begum. We welcome all the dignitaries, the founder of our MIDA group, Mr. Ajit Kumar Topil, our patron, Mr. Basant, and our fellow team members, and all our group members, distinguished invitees, all teachers, students, and their parents and well-wishers. Our warm welcome to all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your welcome speech and hospitality. Next, may I invite the leader who has the capacity to translate the vision into reality, Mr. Rajesh, the President of MIDA Thrissur, for presidential address. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Hasina ma'am, and a very warm welcome to everyone. It is indeed a pleasure for me to be organizing part of this educational webinar, and this is like a career counseling, which is very essential for nowadays for all the students and parents to know how to put forward their children's career in advance. And as Mr. Shashindran Menon, our secretary, said, like I'm not calling each and every individual, but it is a privilege for me to be part of this elite group of Shrikala ma'am, Anita ma'am, Hasina ma'am, and all other dignitaries and 3 alumni students who are all advanced in their career and got their own mark in their career growth. So on behalf of IMMDA Thrissur, I'm welcoming all of our viewers in Facebook and the Zoom platform to this webinar, and I wish you all the best for Shrikala ma'am and Anita ma'am for the presentation. Thank you, Hasina ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your insightful and inspirational words. Next, a treasurer is the person responsible for running the treasury of an organization. Now, may I invite our silent calm treasurer, Mr. Samir Said Muhammad, for greetings. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. IMMDA Thrissur President, Mr. Rajesh Menon, Secretary Shashindra Menon, our respected guests, Ms. Anita ma'am and Shrikala ma'am, dear members, parents and students. As you know, IMMDA Thrissur as an association have successfully organized a lot of cultural programs after its founded in December 2018. Also doing many charitable works during this pandemic period. Other than that, this is the second webinar conducted by IMMDA Thrissur related to the students' education and career. I believe this will be very helpful for the students to choose their right career and for the parents to support their kids for a bright future. I wish all the very best to the whole team for the success of this webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wholehearted support and greetings for this function. And now, this is the time to introduce the most important and eminent stars of today's session, Mrs. Shrikala and Mrs. Anita. Passionate teacher, a passionate for change. Today, we are extremely fortunate to have them with us. Let me introduce a few words about these personalities. Mrs. Shrikala S. Nambiar, MSc MAd IDGC, member of Indian Council for Child Welfare, New Delhi, former program leader for Cambridge International Examination, recipient of NCERT scholarship during the course BSed, conducted thousands of workshops in reputed schools and even conducted career guidance and career exhibition for high school students, founder and director of Shishastri Educational Consultants, former Empalted Agency for CBSE for Capacity Building Program for Teachers on CCE. And Mrs. Anita Thundathil, MA B.Ed, an organized, passionate teacher with a strong track record in teaching social science for the past 33 years in Kandriya Vidyalayas, with rich experience in guidance and counseling, skills in innovative methods of teaching and ICT. Postgraduate in political science and diploma in value education and spirituality. Along with these two presenters, we have 3 students .
Hello, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Dr. Hasina, ma'am, thank you for introducing. I thank IMMDA Thrissur for giving this opportunity to share our experience and give awareness program for the parents, students, and teachers who are participating in this program. It's a great privilege to be a part of this distinguished team. We start this program with a case. So here I just want to share my slide presentation. So we start today's session with a case. I just came to know about one student very recently, and I was feeling very sad. This girl, she completed her, she got admission into PharmD. It's a 6 years course, and at the end of the 5th year, she felt that she is not able to cope up, and she had a lot of backlogs also for the past few years. So she was not able to cope up. So she almost finished 5th year and she dropped, and she changed her career to writing. She realized that her passion is in writing, and she started attending a certificate course on writing. It's such a sad state that the child has gone through 6 years of studying in the campus. The parents have spent so much resources on her, and finally she didn't get to complete the course, and she changed her course. But it's nice, one best part of this is that she understood what she actually wants to do in life. So she immediately the need for career planning, stages, role of teachers, parents, the society, and the students, what they need to do, and we'll give some idea on how we can help our children plan a career and give direction to them. So what is actually career planning? Career planning is a conscious process. It's a deliberate effort for us to do what we need to achieve in terms of our future job. So it's a deliberate, conscious effort. If it is not done, then we end up, and we may repent, we may not be able to reach our goals, or maybe reach the targeted achievements at the later stage. So the first step of career planning is to create a strong foundation in terms of knowledge and skills. And decision making is an important part as in the process of career planning. So who are the people who can help children in career planning? It is the teachers, the students themselves, the parents, and society. Now, for example, as Midday group of Midday Thrissur, you've taken an initiative to conduct this program to bring awareness. So it's a responsibility of all of us to support children so that they choose a better career and they are more satisfied with what they are doing in terms of their job. So career planning is a deliberate process of knowing who you are and where you want to go and what you want to be in future. So there are three main components of career planning. That is, first one is self-exploration. It's very important for us to understand about ourselves. What are our strengths? What are our opportunities? What are our abilities? What are our interests? And what values we hold? So it's very important to understand self. That takes us to, that gives actually a direction for us to choose a particular course of action or particular subject, or maybe which leads to a career. The second component of career planning is occupational exploration. Here we are finding out what are the different job opportunities, or maybe what are the different because now there is a vast scope for different jobs, but it's sometimes very confusing which will be more suitable for me. Every child has a confusion, and every parent also has a confusion that which job or which career will be more suitable for my child. So there is a scope for understanding this only when we explore and find out and gather information. So this can happen when you meet people who are working in different fields and attend job career fairs and understand what is the latest opportunities in the field of different fields. Like for example, now there is a lot of scope for mechatronics, robotics, drone making. All these are upcoming careers. So every year, there are new careers emerging. So it's very important for us to also understand what are the career opportunities. Now, planning the career or educational planning is the third part of the career planning. So here we need to make a decision right from 10th standard, which course or which subject that the child needs to opt to achieve or to take up a particular career. Then what are the goals that we need to set? What are the short-term goals? The immediate goals first. What are the immediate goals? The immediate goals being achieving the scores or maybe the required scores in the subjects in that particular level. And then the short-term goal would be what is the course that I need to pursue, and long-term goal would be what I would want to achieve in this field. So basically, when this happens, there are a lot of challenges parents and children face. So it's also a problem-solving process. So suppose there is a course that is that requires a lot of funds. So we may have to look at taking an educational loan. Maybe we need to travel or shift from one location to the other location to ensure that the child gets the best education. So these are certain decisions that we take and certain problems that we solve while we plan a particular career or educational plan for the children. Now, that means career planning is first to know about self. Understand what is your strength, what you want, what is your interest, what is your ability, and then identify which skill you are excellent in. Research on the different career options and find out what are the different opportunities available and which is it aligned to your values. So that is one important aspect. So values play an important role. So this is about the career planning. Now there is a difference between a job and a career. What is a job? Job is that occupation that we do at a particular point of time. Like now I'm working, suppose I'm a teacher is working in say class in a school, and she's a primary teacher. Now she works there as a primary teacher is a job that she's holding at that point of time. But career, it refers to the working a lifetime. What path the ladder that the person achieves, or a ladder that she climbs in that career. So she would want to upgrade her qualification, upgrade her skills, and would want to become a high school teacher, and maybe she would want to get into becoming a principal. So this is a career, and this career stays for many. I mean, it's a lifelong journey. It's not a destination. That is what is career and the job. What the difference between job and the career. So with this, I hand over to Anita. She would share with us what are the stages of career plan. Over to Anita.
Thank you, Shrikala. Thank you, team, for inviting us for this good cause. And I'm happy to be with you all with this learned team today. We are really grateful to you. And I hope our session would be fruitful for all of you. May I start with the first slide, Uday, because Hasina Madam had rightly put it. See, the aim of education or schooling, one is to teach us to make a living. One is to teach us to make a living, that is the career. That is what we are here for. And the other, what Madam said is how to live. School teaches us how to live, that is the values. So here now we move on to the career development as such. Usually we think the career development, you see, like any other development, maybe intellectual, physically we are growing, socially, emotionally, how we are becoming more and more and more, we are looking into all that. But when we come to career, we always think that it is usually we think of the youth and the adults. We just go to the youth or the adolescents and we are only concerned mainly about them. It is not so. So here I wish to put forth that career guidance is a lifelong process that involves constant growth, change and adaptation. So career growth is just not about jobs, work or career. It's a life story itself if you see. So the career development, in fact, if you rightly ask, the roots of career development begin in child's life very early. Like if I asked, you'll be wondering why this child early life. Now, if I ask you all a question, the elders sitting here, like about your job or your career, you would immediately go back to the past and then come to your present and then you move on to your future, what it is. But you ask a child, the child talks about the present career. Present, he is in the present. So that is what I'm dealing with here. I'll be taking you to the various stages where the child starts developing it. So it is for the young parents and the learned members who are sitting here. It is not just during the adolescence when you start thinking at the child age itself. The reason is you will have more career choices by then the child comes to adolescence, one thing. Second is your confusion should move away. And the third is there is more confidence among you people. You have discussed it and so on. So this is the first stage where you call it as the preschool stage between 3 and 5. They do not know much about career. They only know about their parents that yes, my dad is so powerful or my mother is so and so. They look at their kindergarten teachers and they move on this way. Though the child just puts into his head that father goes to office, mother is at home, or mother and father goes to the office, the carer takes care. So he is not able to connect it with the career, but that is there in his mind. Yes, so and so drives the car. You ask a small child of 4 or 5 years, get back to your kindergarten, when you will know that the child talks to you about the driver he has seen, or he just imitates whatever he has seen, and that is how it starts. Because he loves to be a driver. You ask a girl, she will like to be cooking. You will see once you get into the malls, you have the all the gender divisions are there that you have. They go and take all those that is needed for the girls and you give them. The boys usually go in for the guns and such things. They are the small children. It is just developing in them. So in the next slide, when you move to stage 2, in stage 2, it is between 6 to 8. 6 to 8 is first standard to, you can say, third standard that the student come to. So students begin to develop here the awareness. They come to know about the teacher. Yes, she is my teacher. He is my principal. He just knows father goes to the office. My mother is a doctor. My so-and-so is this. So that is what happened in this second. And they also have a certain notions that yes, nurse is usually there. You ask them to draw a nurse, they'll draw only a lady or they. You ask them to draw a mechanic or a driver, they'll draw only a gent or they. So they have this gender-wise discrimination or there in the primary school. about this, but their career one starts with them. Some children, you dress them up during your fancy dress competitions. The parents sitting here will understand that how they would not want to be models, the boys especially. The girls, you tell them, yeah, why don't you go in? They will go in as models. So this is the second stage when again you say the awareness begins. So here is where the awareness of the career guidance begin actually. The development begins. Then when we move to 3, between age 9 and 13, we say they move on to the somewhat like 4th to 8th standard. This is. Here you can see again there is the division. They come to know about it. They explore the careers now. They start exploring the careers. From the age of 19 to 13, children in the middle school, they understand who is a doctor, what are his job, who is a police, who is a miner or a cleaner lady in the school. Mainly they are accompanied with the environment, what they see, or what they see in the TV and medias and such things. So this is how it starts, the lower. This is a very important age actually, wherein the teachers will also have to come into 4th. That is why we say 4th to 8th standard is very important here. I wish to bring to you all a very good example who was, I think everybody knows about him, but unfortunately he's not there with us, our great president. He was also the missile man, APJ Abdul Kalam. You know that when he was in his 5th standard, this was the age. I'm coming here, this was the age. During his science class, his teacher was teaching him just about the bird flying. And he was saying how the bird flies. I think the teacher was Mr. Shivashankar Iyengar. Shiva Subramaniam Iyengar. And he was the one who was teaching them how the bird flies. But I think these boys, he was trying to draw it because he was not able to get into what exactly the teacher was saying. And so most of the boys, and they stood up at Rameshwaram, that school, elementary school, and they said, we are not able to understand to the teacher. Immediately, what did the teacher do? In the evening, he carefully took them all near to the seashore that was near to the Rameshwaram. He showed them, again I'm reminding you that Dr. Kalam was in his 5th standard. And he showed them how the bird flaps the wings and flies. So as the bird flaps the wings, its tail movement, he comes to know. It is said that this is where he had decided that he will be taking up on aeronautical engineering, and then he asked his teacher, he went on with that, he started drawing, he started getting. So what I'm telling you here is adolescence is just not the period, but this is the development stage that starts. You have sometimes example in your own house. Father is a doctor. Sometimes the son, sees the father putting on the stethoscope and this. And sometimes you see the family, you get the doctors. So also today in many of these, you will see this. It happens. So this is the stage where the child starts exploring the careers. They sometimes, even in 4th or 3rd standard, you can see them coming back to school and then they act out as their teachers. They would like to behave like they'll make all of you sit down and teach. You would have enjoyed all that during your, if you have the little children at home. So the career, is actually induced into their mind. These are the careers that we have. And now we move on slowly to that of the next, wherein we are very much concerned. This is where is the adolescent stage, wherein they start with their exploration, the older adults, when it is time for decision making. This is where they start their commitments, they start their awareness, they start about preparing, planning, everything goes on with from 9th standard it starts. It's from 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th, they become a bit more focused. They are not hazy, though they are confused. Some of them may be confused. And so this is where the parent, the teacher and the child sits and think whether he is good in investigatory or is the boy good as realistic or conventional he is. Because now we divide them into groups. any career counselor or even the teachers, because this is where the child says, I find maths difficult, I find science difficult, I am interested in writing. This is where the child starts expressing, and I feel this is the right, again, next stage, wherein by then sometimes the parent would have planned, yes, my child is good at this, good, so and so. So this is one is realistic. The realistic group that you see, they mainly go in for like engineers. Their characteristics will be different, like more on their practicals, hands-on problems and solutions. If any TV or anything that goes out of your batteries you want to put, he immediately comes and he says, I'll do it for you, Dad. So this is the children who are really realistic group we put them into. And the next is the investigatory. They like, mainly they go into the medical groups. Science and such things they are really interested in. They want to know about the plants. They want to know what's happening around. They are so very biologists, chemists, all these people, the pharmacists and all get into this group. And the next is the artistic group. Mainly these go in for for a job to say, it's mainly advertising or any of such things that they move into, fine arts and these interior decorators that you have. All event managers, all these they go into. And then we move on to the social group that is there. That is where people like us come, where you have the teachers here, wherein they are more into with the children, or the nurses you see, or the counselors that you see, or the social workers that you find, or even you go to a restaurant, you find them sometimes. These are the people. And the lastly, you have the enterprising, that group you have mainly, they are the supervisors, the managers, the executives, they come under these enterprising group, and the last is the conventional group. Usually they go in for banking, they are quite organized, they like to sit with the files and so on and move this way. So this is the last that I wish to put forth. Like these are the developmental stages. I've just given you a short history on the development stages. So parents sitting here, it is not just during the adolescence that you should think of the career. If you want your child to move on to a very good position, or you do not want any confusion, or you do not want to approach a career, start right from elementary school classes itself. That's my say for today. And then my advice is to the students. So students, they will have to have a plan as such. As Srikala said, they have to prepare for the future. It is understanding oneself. Who am I? Be bold enough to speak. Identify your goals. Explore the opportunity. See, you're not good at maths. Again, you try out. In 9th, you come to know that, yes, you want to do better in maths. You try again in 10th. 10th is where you can really prove. And if you do not, you can move on to the subjects that you are interested in, to commerce or so. So preparing, planning. And this is more and more very important. You work backwards. How are you in your primary? How are you in your elementary school? Will you be able to meet these? Your aptitude, your aspirations, your role models, your inspirations, all these, you will have to have a checklist. And then lastly, you have about the 6 plans that you have. The 6 plans that you mainly have, to my advice to the students is the self-assessment. What is your skill? What are the values? What talents do you have? Please make a note of it every day. You don't just don't get worried as to why my marks have become like this. What am I to do? If I want to take up science, improve upon. See, you target and decide on your major career. By then you are in 10th standard. I feel you will have to make a clear vision for yourself as to what you will do. You network with students, you talk to your alumni, you have talked to your professionals, you talk to your parents, you talk to your other friends, see what way I can move about. I am good in this. You see the commerce children, now many of them taking up commerce study. Ask them, how is it? How is the course going on? How is if I take commerce with geography or commerce with IP, discuss with him. So that is very important for a child. And the next is you identify your potential and your career path, you narrow itself. See, when you were small, I told you, you might want to become a driver, you might want to become, you would have seen a movie of an army person, you would want to become a hero like that, you wanted to go for an army. Or see, whether is it true, what you saw that day, was it fantasy? Or have come to the real life. Yes, I can do it. I will go in for my NDA. I will be doing this. And then you research out. Go to the library, do maximum research that you have. Now that with a click, you get everything on your laptops. And lastly, it is only when you are not able to decide, even then you're confused, you please meet your career advisor or a career counselor. It is then you go to a career counselor or a career because you're confused. You do not know as to whether to go in for this stream or the other, because today, you know, the work has become so very complex because it's become globalized. They work in the car, you see them working in the home, you see them work everywhere that you see, they sit down with their, and you can work from anywhere today. So today in this globalized world, where it is all become very like Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, we say, you can move into any country that you wish to for your higher studies, you meet a career counselor. So I think the best person who can speak more about this is, before I hand over to Shrikala, there is the career planning that helps you. So when you move to a career counselor, she will be putting you to a psychometric test. So you have the unlimited options, you do not know what to do, you discuss about the money, and then you get back to your counselor. So I request Shrikala ma'am to hand over to this session now. She'll be dealing with what exactly is this psychometric testing, which some of you may need. So just listen to her, what exactly it is. Thank you all.
Thank you, Anita. Well, psychometric test is a standardized test which assesses the interest, ability, personality of the student, and psychometric test can give an idea which would be the best career option for your child or for the student. So when there is a confusion, then as Anita said, it's better to go to a career counselor who will administer the psychometric test, because they are authorized to administer this test, not everyone. So it's a standardized test. Now in psychometric tests, the first one that usually administered is the ability test, that is the aptitude test. In the aptitude test, there are a set of 8 tests. These 8 tests includes, some of them I can just mention here: verbal, numerical, clerical, reasoning, mechanical, psychomotor. These are some of the tests, and each test is having a stipulated duration. So in that particular duration, the student should complete the test. So the duration is very important. For each level, there is a separate test. So for boys, there is, there are separate tests, and for girls, there are separate test sheets. So this test is administered, and maybe it will take 2 sessions to complete the aptitude test. Now you have the interest test. This is what you're seeing in this on the screen is a test administered to a boy named Mohit, and this is how his verbal ability is, his numerical ability, and you can see the different abilities which are shown. And then we have the interest test. So again, this is a separate sheet, the working sheet for both the male and female. So separate tests are there for the two genders, and the interest test gives us an idea what are the areas or what are the jobs this student will excel in. So we can give an idea based on the interest and aptitude test. We come to consensus. We also look at the scholastic abilities also, and personality test also is taken, and we come to certain conclusion that these are the occupations that will be more preferred for this child. Now, for example, here this student Mohit, his occupational preferences is more towards expressive areas. So he'll be more successful as a journalist, as a news editor, as a foreign correspondent, historian, news reporter, maybe a TV show organizer. So we suggest that these career or these jobs will be more, the student will be more successful. And both interest and aptitude tests, and when we consider also the opportunity, makes a career. So it's very important. What interest is basically what the child enjoys doing, and aptitude is the ability or the potential or the capacity of the student or the skills that he has. So the aptitude can be improved. You can also work on your aptitudes. So when we have the aptitude, we understand the interest, and we look at the opportunities, we can plan a future career. So now I hand over to Anita on teacher's role in career guidance.
Thank you, Shrikala, again. So let me at the outset tell you all that I have been in this career noble profession for the past 33 years, and I thank all my teachers at the outset for I am here today. It's only all because of them, I should say. So going to them, I start this session, the role of teachers in career guidance. Teacher is shapes the character, caliber, and the future of the individual. That's the main point about the teacher. It is a noble profession, and it is the teacher who actually shapes the character, caliber, and the future of this. And children must understand that teachers are trained professionals, and they only want the best from you. Sometimes they would be unfair with you, but do not take it otherwise. It is for your best. They are here for you. And I'll quickly move on to the points that I may not go into detail, because I understand a teacher knows as soon as she enters the class, the first thing she can do is to link the subjects with the world of work. That's the first thing the teacher has to do, not just be focused with the subject, what the teaching alone is, just the bookish knowledge. But then, for example, as me being a teacher, when I do a social studies, like a social science lesson on solar system, I always introduce Kalpana Chawla. I get her picture, I tell her, so that children there sitting will understand that yes, so and so can also become an astronaut. There is no gender discrimination or there. Anybody who does this can become. You start having this way the English teacher. The English teachers can encourage the children by making them write poems, letters to the editor. They should start at the very early age, right from 8th standard. It's been done in our school. And the journalist in them is brought out. That's a very important one, what a teacher has to do. The skills. Every child is born with some potential or other. Every child comes with a hope that God is not yet discouraged with man. So with this saying, every teacher should move forward, and it is in teachers' hand. How interesting, how well the classes can be taken in a classroom. That is where you induce the interest in them right from your primary classes, including the primary teacher, because we always remember our teacher. We are proud that when we say, yes, my child has done this. my student has been this, and you get the respect there. So why not start in the classroom, open up the lessons, and that is one way wherein you link your subjects to the world of work. Second is, teachers should have career conversation with the children. As soon as the child comes over, let it be even a small conversation. They should have conversation like, what are the work of a doctor? What is the work of an engineer? What is the work of an astronaut? Like, they should have this conversation with them, including that of a teacher or that of, you can say, a social worker or anybody for that matter. Teach them the dignity of labor. When you teach along, it adds up as a value. Schools can have exhibitions, career exhibitions. Every year, at least twice, they can have it. They can call in guests from outsiders. Like, you can have alumni of your school to come and speak. And the next important one that you can take them is the field visit. Take the children to the post office. Take the children to the court. You must take most of the schools have their own vehicles today. So make your classes interesting by taking them outside the classroom and dealing with them as to what is to be done, including a farmer. Take them to the field one day. Let them work there, because I'm sure that would be the best thing that they will remember, even when they are 80s or when they turn into their 90s. So my request to the teachers are, keep your library updated. The library should have, in most of the Kendra Vidyalayas, we do have a corner for career guidance and counseling that is exclusively for career. I'm sure all the CBSE schools, all your UAE schools, all the schools have it. They do have, even the state schools here, they have it. They have a corner wherein children go learn, take the books, take the latest ones, keep all the compendiums ready there. CBSE, yeah, I want to go in for pharmacy, which are the schools? I would like to take up engineering. Where exactly can I go? Private engineerings are there. You have the medical ones. How do I prepare for this? Go in for that. And you will also have a career advisor. Please do meet her as and when required. Your counselors or your advisors that you have in your schools. So these are the main things that I wish to put forth to the teachers. And now, the role of parents also are here, quite an important thing, because only resist treating your child as an extension of you. I have this to tell the parents. I hand over again to Shrikala ma'am. She'll be dealing with parenting skills, because we have come to the most important. I think the young parents should listen to it. Yes, Shrikala.
Yeah. Thank you, Anita. See, parents play a very important role in the child's life, and I am sure all of you agree that all our parents, our lives revolve around our children. But it's very important to understand, reflect on our own parenting skills. So what kind of a parent we are is very important to understand. So there are three parenting styles basically: avoidance, acceptable, emotional, concentration. So first, avoidance. Yeah, these are the parents who actually they neglect the children. They don't show love or concern. They give minimum care. So sometimes it happens that instead of encouraging, they humiliate and they don't address their requirement. So that's a very negative part of parenting. So I should say here, sometimes parents, they think that if I scold the child, or maybe if I put down, if I ask why you got very less marks, okay, you got 99, but what about that 1 mark that you lost? So if you look down upon the child, the parents think that maybe next time he will improve and he'll try to score 10 on 10. But we don't understand that this is actually discouraging the child. The second type of parent is acceptable, casually, or lovingly. So these parents are ideal and they are concerned about the child, his day-to-day activities. They follow up with the teachers. They understand how the child is doing academically. The emotional health of the child is also taken into consideration by spending time with children, quality time with the children. So these parents are more approachable. So the child, if has a particular problem, the child comes and speaks to the parent and tries to find solution. So such an important aspect to parenting is to be approachable. Sometimes we overpraise the children, but these parents, they praise reasonably and give reasonable freedom to the, on a day-to-day basis. Now you have some parents who are very overprotective and over-demanding. They don't help children to, actually they confine them and less freedom is given to them. They confine them to a particular activity. They say you study on your own. Don't spend time with your friends, and maybe the group study they may not agree, but actually group study will help them to develop more social skills and also develop the ability to work as a team. So they don't allow the child to do a certain activity which the child may enjoy doing it. So these are overprotective parents. They are always observing the child, where the child is going to make mistakes, or where the child is not able to score in a particular subject, and they try to understand that the child is not capable of, and maybe they put down the child, or they're over demanding. They want to know why the child is not doing well in a particular subject, or maybe they want them to excel in the process. They make the child stressed. So what we suggest is become your child's career buddy. Sit with the child, understand the child's interests, abilities, give time and space for them to think of what they like, what they don't like. Observe the children, how they're growing, what they are actually interested in, what kind of activities they are interested in. So it's important for the parent to build the interest and aptitude in the children in the formative years itself. So that will help them to do better in the future. For example, if suppose the numerical ability is a little low, maybe a little more practice can help the child to improve on their numerical ability. Sometimes you may think that this is also kind of forcing the child, but you can put it in a very, you can communicate it properly to the children by using iMessages. Like, I'm seeing that you're very interested in math. These days you're practicing so much. So it's good to see you doing well in math. So when you keep, give a little encouragement, that will help the child to do, and they want to do it more. They want to do that activity and they enjoy doing that. So it is important to recognize the child, respect the child, and reward the child, even if it is trivial. If the child has created some, maybe a small machine, or maybe he has drawn a small diagram, and he's very keen to show their parents. So encourage, wow, you have done it well. Maybe this, you can try again to do this picture. This is also a very good picture. You can try doing this drawing, or maybe maybe you can present it in your school. Maybe I'll tell your teacher that she gives an opportunity for you to present it in your class. So these are the encouraging words a parent should have for their children. So it's important for the parents to also provide opportunities and learning experiences. Now, as a child grows in the middle to the middle school, the interests vary, and they would want to explore a lot of activities. Maybe you can join them according to the interest and ability of the child. You can join either in robotics or in an art class, or maybe in music, or maybe you can set up a small workstation for them to experiment, to conduct experiments, demonstrations. So depending on the interest and ability of the child, give them the opportunity to excel in what they are learning and doing. Every parent should also create a small portfolio of their child. Like as the child grows from one level to the next level, file all the certificates, all the credentials, or maybe achievements, maybe the newspaper article that has come, that can be filed. So create a portfolio. Maybe the positive comments the teachers have made on him can be also filed. So these are this is very important, the portfolio, and let the child also add on to his portfolio by putting his photographs and maybe his experience, writing down his experiences on different events that he has participated. So these are some points, and most importantly, I want the parents to understand that every child is unique. Every child has a unique abilities. God has gifted with inherent qualities in every child. So there is no scope for comparison. So let us not compare one child with the sibling or with other children, because each child is unique. So let's appreciate that, and let's recognize the unique quality of the child, the skills of the child. So that will help him to excel and be more confident. So class 8, you can start discussing about what the child wants to pursue in terms of career, in terms of which job he would want or he is dreaming of. So accordingly, you can plan in 10th standard, you may plan what are the subjects that the child can choose based on his interest and aptitude. So after 10th, once if you plan after 10th, then I think you will be missing out on many more options in terms of career, because maybe his interests are different. So ideally, after 10th, please see or make observations or make an analysis of how he is doing in his scholastic areas, what are his interests and aptitude, and then plan for your 11th and 12th standards or plus 2 stage, the subjects that the child should choose for the plus 2. Now, if, as Anita mentioned, if you're confused, meet a career counselor, so you can advise, and the psychometric test will give you an idea on what subjects the child should choose in his plus 2 on 11th and 12th standard. Now, there are vast opportunities, and in every field, every field, children can excel. So, explore on what are the different career options, what are the latest trends in career. I think every parent will be interested to know what are the latest career options. We have a file that will be uploaded on the chat box. It's a link to CBSE website. There's a PDF. You can download and look at what are the different colleges and what are the different courses that are available in different colleges. So we'll upload that on the chat box, the link, so that you can browse through and maybe you can download the PDF and later refer to what are the different career options and the courses available in different colleges in India.
So thank you, Shrikala. Shall we move on to the case study as we are running out of time?
I just
The three
wanted
children-
one. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll just finish with this slide, because it's very important for parents to understand that apart from the knowledge that the child gains, it's important that the skills have to be developed, because there's no point in qualifying academically and excelling in the subject if you don't have the skills, because the 21st century is for the skills. Now, what they're looking at in workplace is excellent communication skills, but in classroom, if you see, it's more of individual. Maybe the teachers speak more and the students are passive listeners. So ensure that in the school the children are speaking, they're presenting. So at home also give them opportunity to present on small topics. So that will help in improving their communication skills. So give a positive feedback and ensure that they are improving day after day. The ability to collaborate in teams is one of the important skills that any workplace is looking for while hiring the candidates. So, but if you see in schools nowadays, they are encouraging teamwork, but the parents have to ensure that they can help the children meet their buddies and work in small teams. Leadership skills is one which is very important. Decision making, creativity, critical thinking, questioning skills. Don't stop children from asking questions. Let them ask questions. Give them small problems to solve, daily life problems to solve, not the math problem, but if you want to go to the railway station, or maybe if you want to book a ticket, a bus ticket, how are you going to go about? So give them small problems to solve, real life problems to solve. So that will help them to develop on their soft skills, the skills which are now most important for the workplace success. Over to Anita.
Yes, thank you. So shall we move on to the case study? We have 3 students with us. So I call upon Rakesh. Rakesh can take 2 minutes. Rakesh Puri.
Yes. Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, Major Rakesh is there with you. Yes, Rakesh.
Good evening, one and all, respected parents, teachers, and dear students. I thank you, ma'am, for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to give my views to the budding students and the coming pillars of the nation. Within a very brief talk, I will summarize my talk in just 5 subheads. That is the stage at which I thought joining the forces, what actually inspired me to join the army per se, and set of knowledge, public skills that I had, which helped me to make a career in the army, and career aspects in per se in the armed forces, and last but not least, message to the students. So quickly coming on to the first is stage at which I actually thought of joining the army. Well, to be very frank enough, we all as kids, I was also just like one of the kid here. I was lucky enough to be in the boarding school, and immediately, and my school had a very speculated schedule that we followed right from morning till the night. So that actually helped me out. And then coming on to in my 6th standard, I was lucky enough to join National Cadet Corps. I think all Indian students are aware about it. That's for all students to, it's part of co-curricular activity. And that helped me actually to understand that I have a charm for uniform, which actually helped me to understand that I have a career in the defense forces now. And since beginning, and the school I for studying. That was central government school, CRPF public school. It had various dignitaries coming to various functions. That also inspired me a lot to make a career in the defense forces. Now, who guided me per se or inspired me? I would again come back to my teachers back then, who were actually role models for me today. Wherever I am, it is just because of them. And fortunately enough, I had an elder brother who is presently a squadron leader in the Air Force and serving in Agra. So by the time I was studying, he already joined the forces. So he was another source of motivation for me. So and which I had an added advantage for me. And now coming on to some skills or knowledge that are required, which will actually help you to make a career in the defense forces. Army is a group of soldiers. That means the first and foremost thing we need to develop here is team spirit. And team spirit comes out in playing sports and games. So sports and games plays a very important part in a student's life, which by the competitive world today, we see that parents don't give that much time for their kids to play or something. So I request you equal time to be dedicated to studies as well as sports, because playing sports develops lot of skills, lot of confidence in young students. Then coming on to initiative is another. Being in the school, I used to see my teachers organize small events like assembly and other events, which actually helped me, which actually required planning. And then I came to know, then slowly the organizing ability and initiative developed within me. So I think this is another. And coming on to a career path as such in the army. Army, I would say it's not a career, it's a way of life. The moment you join the army, your parents, your family is being taken care of emotionally, physically, and financially. So if you see it as a way of life, then you'll actually enjoy it. And to see it as a career, of course, it has a very speculated rank structure throughout your service. At every stage, according to your professional performance, you develop your rank and so on and so forth. But as a career, after joining, after my present 20 years are dedicated to the service in the army. But once I leave the army gives you such a vast exposure in various professional and adventurous skills which you can develop while being in the army. So once you plan after retirement, you can do resettlement courses, professional courses like do a MBA degree. If you are a BTech, you can do MTech to settle down professionally. If you see it as adventure courses, you will be doing so many adventure courses that will help you to make a career in adventure. So army has a lot to offer you. It is just your motivation is required. And for that, I am a live example. Now coming on to the message to the young budding students, without taking much time, I'll just say hard work. The route which in hard work may be treacherous, may be tough, but the fruits will always be, the results will always be fruitful. And I would also say, like now, and if you fail in some of your attempts, so you should always remember that fail means first attempt in learning. Never bow down. Don't be demotivated. Keep going on. And finally, I really thank you so much, ma'am, for giving me such a wonderful opportunity. And I just ran through all my school days. It's a nostalgic feeling that I am having today. It is because of ma'am that I was able to go through that flashback and give my views. And I'm always available to guide young students and budding generation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rakesh. I would like to mention to the audience that Rakesh is an officer who is deployed in counter-insurgency operation in Rashtriya Rifle, and he worked in Jammu and Kashmir. Presently, he is stationed in NSG, Manesar, as a part of the terrorist task force, for Indian Army. Now, he also participated in basic mountaineering course, solo paragliding course, scuba diving, basic course in paratroopers training school in Agra. So thank you, Rakesh, for joining us. I'm sure some of the students who are watching you would have been really motivated. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. So we have our next participant, Anirudh Ram Gopal.
Yeah, just 2 minutes, I think they can take. Yeah.
All right. Am I audible? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, Ram.
All right.
You can.
Thank you. All right. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well amongst this pandemic. I hope everybody is getting through. So firstly, I would like to thank all the coordinators over here for giving me this opportunity to speak over here and share my experience and my thoughts on how I picked my career and the direction I wanted to go to. So like the previous speaker, I will also be just speaking in 5 head points, but I will shorten it because we are running low on time. So firstly, what made me pursue the career I'm doing? So just a brief intro about me. I am doing astrophysics. It's probably a very unusual course and you must not have heard about it a lot. So I pursued astrophysics at the age of 18. So I was in grade 12, if I'm not wrong. Yes, yeah. So I was one of the very few people who made a very late decision because I didn't know what I was doing with my life until 12th grade. So I just want to tell everyone, all the students watching, it's never too late. You can always make your decision, and do not panic. There's always room for everything. So it's never too late and you always have time. But that's not me trying to say don't be demotivated and don't back out from everything. But if you think you're late, don't be demotivated. It's never too late. There's always opportunities knocking at the door. So just go for it. And secondly, I'm gonna talk about what inspired me to get into astrophysics. So this is a very interesting thing because it's not usual to what other people get inspired to. So I was just so basically I'm a man who likes physics and mathematics because that's what I grew fond of in my school. And so basically I was reading something about physics and there was a quote by Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's a famous astrophysicist, and the quote said, what we know is a drop, but what we don't know is an ocean. So I wanted to figure out what is that ocean that we don't know about. There's a lot of mysterious things out there and we don't know anything about, and there's a lot of opportunities for everyone just to find out, because what we know is probably 0.00001%, and what we don't know is the rest. So there's always opportunities to find out, explore. There's everywhere, there's always opportunities knocking at the door. And to my third point, what knowledge and skills I was good at for pursuing astrophysics. So basically it's just physics and maths, and yeah, it's just physics and maths. With physics, I was always fond of physics from 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th and 12th, because physics was a very dear and a close subject to me, because obviously thanks to my teachers, they had taught me physics in a very nice way and I really grew fond of it. So was maths. I love numbers, and once I started with my course astrophysics, whatever I learned in school was really helping me. And next, I want to talk about the career path I aspire in future. So astrophysics is a very unusual course, like I had mentioned earlier. So your options will be narrowed down. what you want to pursue in your career. Many will say, oh, you're being an astrophysicist, okay, then you're probably just going to be a scientist or you're going to be an astronaut, but it has nothing to do with that. I mean, scientist, yes, but being an astronaut is completely different from astrophysics. So astrophysics is basically the study of space and extraterrestrial objects and anything outside Earth. So I will basically be continuing my career in research and probably a professor or something, because I love the subject. But my long-term goal is to open up a space company, which is a bit delusional for a person of my age, but it's far way off. But we all have to hope, right? So my far goal is to like open up my own space company, just like Elon Musk did with SpaceX, and hopefully it works out. But yeah, baby steps, and trust the process. And yeah, that's all I want to say. But like, I have a final message to all the students and parents watching. So students who've just passed out of 12th, this is what I want to tell you. Do not be afraid of failure, okay? Because failure is, like, failure is a stepping stone to success. You fail, it doesn't matter. Because as long as you know you tried, it doesn't matter. Because if you tried, then you know you at least tried and you failed, rather than not trying and failing. When you know you've tried, you know there's still room for more improvement. You know what you should not do, and you can go up in direction, right? So if you look at the biggest examples, like back then, Albert Einstein or Thomas Edison or Nikola Tesla, all of these people, they failed, and look at them, where are they now? They've achieved great heights. Even like the best example for today, like, is Elon Musk. He had 4 rockets that had crashed in SpaceX, and everyone in his company was telling him to shut down, you have to pack up, there's no way you can get out of this. But he was like, no, I will keep going until I be successful. And now he's the richest man in the world. So I just want to say, don't be afraid of failure and keep trying. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Anirudh. May your dreams come true. Thank you for joining us. It was very motivating.
Thank you.
Now we have Vaishnavi. Vaishnavi is now pursuing the speech and audio speech therapy course at JSS Institute. Over to Vaishnavi.
So a very warm and pleasant good evening to one and all present here. First and foremost, I'd like to take this wonderful opportunity to thank each and every one of you for giving me this platform, and especially mentioning Anita ma'am for having me here. Thank you, ma'am. So my name is Vaishnavi Sajit Kumar. I'm from Palakkad, Kerala, and right now I'm studying in the JSS Institute of Speech and Hearing at Mysore. I've done most of my primary and upper primary schooling in UAE, and did my secondary and higher secondary schooling from India. I'm guessing that's pretty much about my little introduction. So how did I get to know about this particular course, speech and hearing, and how did I get inspired? This is a question that I've been asked by a lot of people throughout my life, and I like to make it clear that this is not just a mere profession to me, but my whole life. So to talk about that, I'll have to go back to my primary education period. I was studying in grade 4th when I first got to know about this particular course, speech and hearing. There was this one school for the specially abled near to my school while I was studying in 4th called the Hope Center. And I used to always pass through that school to reach mine. But never did I know what it was or who worked there or who were the students there, who were the teachers there. I didn't know anything about that particular school for the disabled. So once while we were all sitting in my classroom, my teacher asked us what we all wanted to become when we grew up. Everyone in my class had one or the other option, like all the glamorous jobs, doctors, engineers, pilots, film artists, and oh my God, whatever you mention it, they have it. So when the term was passed to me, I was numb. I didn't have any on my mind, and she asked me to be ready with any one profession in mind, because she'd be asking me the same question the next day. I went home and told mom about everything that happened that day, and she provided me with a list of job names, and one among them was speech language therapist. Yes, so that's how and when I got to know about this particular profession, and I was very excited to go to school the next day and tell my teacher and classmates about this. So with whatever knowledge my mom poured into me about the particular profession and the encouragement and support that I got from them, what I would say that kept me intact with my passion. It was then our school took us to that school for the specially abled, the Hope Center, and oh my God, the things I witnessed over there actually made me realize about my profession more and how it worked. It was after that I decided to explore more about this particular course. I realized that this profession was never for the faint-hearted ones. This is all about social servicing for the ones with empathy and above all for the ones with high patience level, I would say. So after that, I made it a point to frequently refer books, Google up things and everything of that sort to keep myself updated. And after I passed out 10th, I got admitted in Palakkad Lions School because I was never very fond of math and numbers. So I wasn't a really great fan of math. So I heard that this particular institute provided an alternate subject for math, which was multimedia and web technology. So I pursued my bio with multimedia and web technology, and I would say that was the best part. And after I passed out my 12th was when I would say my fight to achieve my passion started. My dream college was the All India Institute of Speech and Hearing at Mysore. But in order to get into that college, you needed to clear a very competitive entrance exam, the AIESH entrance. And unfortunately, I couldn't get through. And that's when I got to know about the institute I'm studying at right now, which is also at Mysore. So I would say that it is also a very good institute, which is equally good because almost 50% of the case from AIESH are also referred to our institute. So that was a boon, I guess. And this course particularly needs a lot of hands-on practice. And coming to the entrances and all the stuff, yeah, there isn't any specific entrance for this course like NEET or AIIMS you do for MBBS and stuff, but you can always try JIPMER if you want, and that's the only entrance to the best of my knowledge that has a special seat for this particular course. And all the rest are just the college entrances. There isn't any national level entrances you need to go through. Also, there's another government institute in Kerala, Trivandrum, called the National Institute of Speech and Hearing, the NISH Institute, which is also pretty cool. And I didn't want to go there because I wanted to study somewhere apart from Kerala. And now being in this course, I feel really very happy and blessed to count myself as a person being in this field, because this is all about helping the ones who could never communicate or express their feelings, or for the ones who could never hear. We are giving them an opportunity, a power to express themselves, and I feel it is the most blissful feeling for any person. Talking about my future plans, as of now, it's to complete my bachelor's program and get admitted at a wonderful institute for my master's, and to have some work experience after that, along with pursuing my PhD or research. And I wish to get settled at New Zealand because the scope for my job is pretty high over there. And yeah, this field has got a very varied job prospects. To name a few, I would say we work in clinical setups, hospital setups, industries, educational setups, and now, yes, we even have a particular quota in the army for the audiologists. And as this is just a blooming course, the scope is pretty high abroad than in India. So yes, that is pretty much about me and my relationship with this course. And all I've got to say to the budding youth is that to just keep in mind to always opt a job you love, or else you'll be forced to love the job you do. When you love the job and then take it up, I'd say it would never be like as if you're working or killing time or anything of that sort. It would just be like something you're doing out of passion. You can take it from me that doing something you love really is different, because that's what you always wanted to do. And to the parents, all I got to say is that just be with them, support them, and have belief in them, because I promise you'd never be disappointed. Finally, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my wonderful parents, my support systems, I would say, who have made me who I am today, and for always sticking with me through thick and thin, and for constantly supporting me when things were rough and helped me hold on to my passion. Because if it weren't for them, I'm pretty sure all this dream of mine would just be a mere dream and never a reality. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for supporting me even now with your presence in this meeting. And thank you all once again for giving me this wonderful platform and having me here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vaishnavi, for your short speech. Yes, Shrikala.
Thank you, one and all. It was a wonderful opportunity. In fact, basically, we brought these three participants because they are from three different fields. So parents are more interested in either medical or engineering. They think that it is a prestigious thing to be an engineer or a doctor. But let's understand that there are vast scope for careers and varied institutes providing very good courses So it's important to understand, to work backwards and see what is the education qualification required, or what entrance exam has to be written to pursue a particular course, and prepare the children accordingly. So thank you one and all. Thank you Rakesh, Niruddhan and Vaishnavi for being a part of this program. Thank you the team for giving us an opportunity to share our experience and our views about career guidance. So we can support you by conducting career psychometric tests. If you are interested, you can contact us. We can provide you, a service on psychometric tests for students who are interested. Thank you.
Thank you, Kalpana, and thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Now we have one question from Anil Kumar Adakatil. So I think it's for Anida ma'am. So Anida ma'am can answer. Okay, ma'am.
He's asking, is there any course to study side by side along with the commerce, to enhance the capabilities? That was his question. I think along with the 11th, he should be connected to any of the CA people if they are there nearby. Any, I don't think so they entertain any of the 11th unless you go in for the jobs like sales or something like that. For study as such, I think you will have to link up with one of the chartered accountants near your place, so that he guides you and then takes you to, as far as my knowledge as such is concerned. I think that's the best way, because being into commerce, and exactly what does he wish to as such, what study does he wish to? If he wants to be going in for chartered accountancy, I think you can meet one of the chartered accountant, and I think he would guide you as to how to go about. I think that would be the best. Then you will have to get into the marketing, talk to the any of those private companies are there for. Usually they have their projects in 11th, I suppose. So during the project study, he can always visit a bank and talk to them. If anything has it started in India, I do not know, but outside they do, they do go in for such professional ones. I think that should be okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Anita ma'am.
Yes.
So, ma'am, one more question is there. Which courses can give to the commerce students?
Commerce students have a variety, quite many, ma'am. They will have to just log in, that CBSE medium we have passed on. They give a list of all sorts of jobs for the commerce children, right from they can go in for BBAs and business management courses are there, the BCAs are there, and then they have the as such on commerce and marketings they have. Today they have the synopsis and the symbiosis, all those take up. IIMs are there, they can directly 4 years courses. I think they do have a variety, huge sum of things that commerce children can take up on. They will have to go into these detailed study, meaning just look into the interest, exactly what do they want. Do they want to get into the financial, or towards the marketing, or towards the administrative side, or towards the banking? So this way, they will have to compartment it and then move on. Today, commerce children are I think they have more, in fact, compared to many, even including the science as such. Yeah, the BBAs, administration ones. I think even the IITs have opened for integrated courses. In India, we have the Ashoka universities. That's all integrating the courses now. With economics, I think they have a subject on economics. They can go in for that. Ample courses are there, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's a big list. If you look into, it's a big list.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your proper guidance. Then so far no other questions, no more questions. Then to the audience, do you have any questions to ask our big personalities with us. Do you have any questions to ask on live? You can. I hope all the participants are very much appreciated this session, and they have no more questions to ask because they are fully engaged. So they got it almost all the points what you covered this occasion. And this occasion, I would like to appreciate the three important students first, Major Ragesh Puri and Mr. Aniruddhan and Vaishnavi Sajit Kumar. So I hope these three students, so the first one, he told that don't be afraid of fear. So he is in army and he told, and his main advice to us that don't be afraid of fear. That's the most important advice. Not to afraid anything. We can come forward with our reality and to our dreams. And the second one, Mr. Aniruddhan, is an astronaut and he's also have lots of dreams in his life. And he told us that there is a big dreams need for our future. Without dreams, we can't reach anywhere. That is another advice given by Mr. Aniruddhan. And finally, the Vaishnavi Sajit Kumar, she is an audio speech therapist. She told us that take it everything passion. So that's a very good advice. That means passion for writing, for anything. Even our Anita Ma'am and Srikala Ma'am told us that even the teachers are also have a good role to mold up the students for their career. That means even an English teacher or social studies teacher, Anita Ma'am specified that English teacher can give more and more ideas to the students and even have the career conversation with students through their classroom teaching. And even she told that even keep your library updated. So ma'am, of course, I'm a teacher. Also, I'll try to do this, update the library for English teachers especially. They can update the students on day by day. And even the counselors are also have a good role to mold up the students for their career development. And along with that, even the Kala Ma'am, she told that the components of career, educational planning and career planning. And what's the difference between job and career? That's very important. So actually we think that the job or career is the same, but she clearly differentiated that what's the difference between job and career. Job is an occupation that you have at any given point of time. And the career is a working life over time. And even the Anita Ma'am's class, we got it clearly that what are the stages of career development. 3 stages, she explained everything properly. The first stage, second stage and the third stage. And through this age level, she mentioned properly. Through that, we can get a clear-cut idea that from which age onwards the students can select their career in their life. And she told them, identify your goals or potentials and explore your opportunities. That's very, very important. As a teacher, I underlined and told to you that each and every participants then identify your goals and potentials. It's explore your opportunities. It's very, very important. And even the psychometric test, she explained properly that what is a psychometric test, how to make this interest schedule among students. And even she explained properly about what's the role of teachers and parents, not only the teachers' role, even with the parents, how to inculcate our students to select their career in life. So thank you so much for all, especially Srikala Ma'am, Anita Ma'am, and for your participation along with the 3 important personalities or the 3 important students along with us to share their experiences and even their career along with us. It's good motivation to all, not only the students, to even the parents too. I hope it was very successful, even what we conducted today. Packed a lot of information into a short time. These 2 are obviously pros. Great interactive webinar today. So I hope that very useful information and to apply immediately to our life. I definitely changed the attitudes and thoughts of parents and students through this webinar. So I think that this is very helpful for each and everyone who presented over here today. Thank you so much for joining us, spending your valuable time with us. We hope that these two personalities, Ms. Sanitha ma'am and Srikala ma'am, they are very busy schedule, especially this day, this Friday evening. They are very busy, and along with this busy schedule, they joined with us and to explain properly with us. So thank you so much. Yes, generosity and thoughtfulness are very much appreciated this time. End of this session, may I invite Mr. Dinesh Babu, who is the main backbone of these webinars, Nammude Thrissur. He is the main backbone. So I underlined and say he is the main backbone of this webinar. I invite Mr. Dinesh Babu for vote of thanks of today's session. Thank you all once again.
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to thank Mrs. Srikala Nambiar and Mrs. Anita Sundatil on behalf of Mida Thrissur Koottayama for giving us such a wonderful session about career guidance. My special thanks to Major Rakesh Puri, Anirudh and Vaishnavi for joining our session and sharing their perspective. Thank you to our viewers. We hope this session has helped all parents and children with the necessary information that they might have been confused about. Thank you, entire team of Mida Thrissur, President Mr. Rajesh Menon, Secretary Sachindran Menon, Treasurer Mr. Samir, and our patron Mr. Basant, and our founder member Mr. Ajit Topil, and entire team, those who work behind the screen. Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for participating in this event. Thank you, all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and I think with that we end this session, because I think no more questions. So probably we can wind up the session. Hasina ma'am.
Okay, sir. So, okay, thank you all. Once again, thank you for all to attended this section with us. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was a great one. Thank you.